Welcome back once again to the Flaming Puck podcast, the Calgary Flames show by the fans, for the fans, with me, your host, Ian Dynamo Kelly, joined as always by Chris Ruback and Dylan Simpson. Today, we have got a great show for you, as always, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow us on the Dynamo Podcast Network on YouTube. All the audio going forward from today is going to be there as well. So for the people that want to have the morning commute and don't want to see our beautiful faces on screen, you will be able to hear our beautiful, seductive voices through your ear holes on your commute. So it's going to be there's lots of great stuff. But yeah, follow us on the Dynamo Podcast Network on YouTube. Hit the like and subscribe button. Hit the bell notification. Follow us, and please do leave comments because we're getting some great comments at the moment from both Calgary fans and non-Calgary fans. And we appreciate every single one of you. But today, boys, this is one we're looking forward to. We were meant to have a guest on today. It kind of fell through last minute because it is Mother's Day over in your neck of the woods. So shout out to all the mothers in Canada, both the good-looking ones and the ugly ones. They all serve a purpose.
I'm being forced to sleep in the Flames cave tonight because I'm not doing Mother's Day stuff. I'm here with you fellas.
Dude, if I'm over in Calgary, I'm sleeping in the fucking Flames cave all the time. It's grand.
That's where I pass out.
Yeah, my missus can be, we're going to go tops and tails, right? My missus can stay in a hotel, it'll be fun.
You have little flip outs in there. Is it soundproof? It should be soundproof. That way you can yell at your TV.
I mean, ish. I mean, it is in the basement, so I mean, we can crank it up.
You'll have an Irishman and a Canadian man both shouting at the TV, and people will be like, "Are they arguing down there?" Like, no, not with each other.
No, yeah, exactly. Well, my wife is British as well, so
yeah, she'll get it. She'll get
England.
it.
She understands.
But today we have a good we've a good show lined up today. Obviously we did say in the last show that we were going to have some people on, but that kind of fell through last minute. But that will happen probably next week or the week after anyway.
Yeah, we need to give Mr. King,
Mr. Stephen King, shout out to Stephen King
for standing us up.
Yeah, he's
I don't know,
so, Mr. Golf.
He did, and I mean, he's the Lord Supreme of Flames Hub, as well as for all our Blue Jays fans out there. He also runs the Blue Jays Hub as well. So find that one on Facebook if you need.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good times.
So Stephen will be on. Again, we always promote Flames up in here. If you are a legitimate Calgary fan or you're a legitimate fan of hockey and you want to come on and talk Flames hockey, fine. But we are all basically all three of us have control over what you're doing. So I've had to decline like about 5 people this week because it's like, no, you're not. How long? The best one I got was from some guy, and it said, how long have the Flames been in the NHL? And it was like 7 years. How long have you been a fan? 7 years. I was like, get the fuck out of here, boy. You're not coming. I don't want to make Dylan and Chris mad. They'll just be like, they'll just destroy it. There's no point in coming on to destroy it.
Yeah, right. And I mean, I've been declining. Hey, Sam Bennett's the best player in the world post for the last week and a half. I'm just tired of those. I mean,
we're working overtime here, guys.
Yeah, let's keep it to one thread. It's fine to talk about it, but keep it in one thread. I don't need 75 threads about Sam Bennett.
Yeah, it's just like, good Lord. And like, it's like, who's your team? The Vancouver Canucks. Well, what the hell are you doing on this? Go. As you said a long time ago, Chris, we'll let you in for a little while, but now it's like, now you know that there's people fishing because they know that we're not in a great place. So it's like, do you know what?
That happens, right?
You're a security man. This is called damage avoidance on my part. It's like, right, let's just make sure that we don't get to that level.
Yeah, we had a guy make a post the other day. He's like, well, now that the Flames are pretty much almost mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, who's all going to start cheering for our neighbors to the north? And like,
good Lord. Yeah. Dylan, why don't you talk about that?
That post stay there because every single member just ripped into this guy, right? And fun.
We had some
then
we had some fun with that, Dylan, didn't we? It was like ask my bollocks. You ended up talking to my bollocks on that one as well. It was just a very weird and wonderful thread.
it was weird. It was weird.
Yeah, that was one of those while I was reading it. I'm like, no, I'm leaving this alone. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not.
just gonna leave it. Yeah, like you
I'm
say,
not. I'm
your
not.
wife's British. She knows. She's like, yeah, he's
Yeah,
asked me
yeah. I'm
bollocks.
not. Yeah, I'm not. I'm not chiming in on
I love
the
it.
likes of Ian's bollocks.
Bringing around.
Yeah, it's like some people will see me and Dylan like it looks like we're fighting and we're completely doing the opposite. It's like we're working you in just to get involved.
Yeah.
We're chirping.
But today
Dylan has this knack.
Oh yeah, he
Dylan
does.
has this knack to draw you in.
I think he met his match with me though as
complain.
well. I think he met his match with me. I think he holds his hands up on that one. It's nice.
I don't know. I mean, Dylan has this knack. He'll draw you in to come and play in his playground, and then he won't let you leave.
Yeah,
Even
I think we know each other too well now.
You back in.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I agree because that's been said about me in the past, and it's like usually you got two peas in a pod and they end up like not liking each other. Whereas with me and Dylan, it's like we're two peas in a pod, and it's like we both know what the other is doing, and it's like just hoping to get other people into our playground. You know, it's like
that's how Dylan and I kind of got together on social media. Is we went head to head a number of times on various topics over the years.
It's awesome.
And then I can't remember who reached out to who, but we just ended up being friends on Facebook, and it's been fun ever since, right? Because we both have the same kind of approach, right? Like, I mean, like you're not going to offend me, so
yeah.
I mean, you can go ahead and say what you want. I'm probably just going to do this and keep poking you until you just get so angry you're either going to explode and I'll boot you out, or you're just going to leave.
Either of us are really like trying to attack anybody. Either way.
No,
we just
never
give our opinions on the Flames, and that's how it should be, right?
But we're all big boys.
Their opinions, just most of them are wrong.
Yeah, we're all big boys, and our opinions are right. And like I say, I repeat, we are the Flames podcast by the fans for the fans. So we are literally speaking on behalf of most of them, but we're realists as well, and I think that's why.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's what's kind of been the key in the Flames Hub success, to be honest.
Yeah.
Is the fact that there are a lot of people there that get it. You know, they know the business side of it. They understand that, you know, when they're playing like crap, you can just say they're playing like crap. It's not that big of a deal, right?
It's got to be done. It's
if Kachuk has a bad game, I mean, I'm sure he's sitting in the locker room going, "Fuck, I played like shit tonight."
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. And
like there's nothing wrong with saying that. Like, I can assure you, it doesn't stop you from being a fan. You know.
No,
exactly. People
I'm always a fan.
You're not a real fan because you're criticizing, and it's like, no, we're watching and we're talking about what we're seeing. It's a bad.
Yeah.
Well, this is
70%
where
of the games this year have been bad. So.
Right.
I was going to say that.
That's been a topic.
I was going to say that to you, Dylan. Like, and that's kind of like a point that I made. It's like, you know, the Flames have some of the most loyal and dedicated fans on the planet, and it's like a good percentage of the Flames fan have just accepted mediocrity over the last decade. And it's like, well, this is our level. No, why not aim for the fucking stars? Why not think
3 decades?
Yeah, well,
3 decades. Right?
Yeah, no, you're right. But you know, I think more so, especially over the last little while, you know, maybe it's because you see more of it on social media, but it's like this just acceptance of mediocrity, and it's like it's actually, it bugs the shit out of me. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Actually, we've got a really good show. We're calling today's show Calgary Flames season 21-22. Do we blow it up or do we retool? So what we're going to do is we're going to look, the first half of the show, we're going to look at how a blow up looks, and it's all hypothetical, of course. We're going to look at the pros and cons of it. And then in the second part, we're going to look at the pros and cons of a retool. We will basically give our 2 cents worth. We may not agree on all points. That's par for the course.
That's part of our shtick.
Part of our shtick, exactly. But either way, you know that it's going to be coming from a place of one love for this logo, as Mr. Ruback likes to say. And that's what we care about right here.
Notice how I love the logo, but there's no name because everyone's playing like shit.
Yeah. He's decided
exactly.
to go with no name. I've went back in time, so I've done a Huey Lewis on the news on this, and I've went back in time, and I'm going with number 12. And of course, Mr. Chris Ruback has he's went with number 19 because it's the only potential bright spot that could come good next year.
Next year he's going to light it up.
He is.
Once he figures out what's going on and get some fans in the stands, or and we don't have people telling him to not play his game. Like
calm
next
down,
year, look out.
Yeah,
I think the league needs to look out for him next year. Like he's going to rip it up. That's you heard it here first. You heard it here first.
I agree.
As you one would say, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who'd say that, but I did.
What was that, Dylan?
So I think he's going to come back with a renewed vigor.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Why don't we start with you, Dylan?
85 points next year. Just saying.
Yeah, me too. I think so. I think he's going to get a record year. Dylan, why don't you start us off in terms of the pros and cons of a rebuild? How does that hypothetically work if that were the case? Because I mean, you could flip a coin right now, and how do we kind of, I suppose, put our hypothetical scenario into play here?
Well, I think one of the maybe less talked about things that's good about a rebuild. I don't think Calgary's going to rebuild, but if they were to, I think this year draft picks are going to be less expensive than they usually are. Draft picks for this year, not draft picks for next year, because scouting's been a little, they haven't really been allowed to scout in buildings, right? So they haven't been able to see what they can usually see. So
it's all on TV, with video.
So teams are probably a little bit more likely to want to, let their possible future picks go for proven talent, but I think that's one really big thing that, and I think that's a big thing.
Well, and it's a weaker draft this year too, right? So there's all sorts of different scenarios that are going to play there. One, because the talent that we know is in say in the first 20. Not saying they're bad players, but like there's no generational player that we see at this point. And so you have the talent level, you have the fact that the scouts aren't able to go to games and watch it. Like this is going to be an interesting draft year, I think, the 2021 draft year, which we have all of our picks, thank God, right? We have an additional. Well, we have one extra third round because of Edmonton, right? Thanks, Edmonton. Yeah. And then, we don't have a fourth, so I'm just going to call that two third rounds,
which is good.
Which is complete package, right? Yeah. So I mean, obviously the 2022 one, we already have the additional Maple Leafs and Florida picks in the second
the round two.
Round. So that's looking good for that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't really know who's coming in on that one that's going to light it up either. Obviously, everybody's excited for the 2023 draft, which if we see
a couple of Russian boys there,
if we see potential to get rid of a player or two and pick up a 2023 first, great. Then we can actually just say we're rebuilding. And the fans are smart enough that they're gonna get it. They're gonna understand that it means something. That if they're if they trade Gaudreau, not saying at this moment that they should, but if they trade Gaudreau and are able to pull a 2023 first out of it, then we know where we're headed, right? We can brace we can brace ourselves for that and get ready for 3-4 years worth of, I'll say, disappointment, but in reality, if you're rebuilding, it's not disappointing at all. You're building for something.
And
it's a lot less disappointing to lose when when you're rebuilding than it is to
100%.
lose when you're supposed to be, you know, contending like
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
are this year.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Well, and I mean,
Amazing.
for the last 10 years, I mean, we're an 8th place team, right? Between 8th place, or I guess really when you look at it, we're 10th to 6th in the West.
Most of the time. There was that one
Like-
year that was in the, but usually we're aggressively mediocre.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a nice way.
100%. Well said.
Yeah, that's a nice way
Yeah.
of putting it. Yeah.
Well said. You know,
Yeah.
this year we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 UFAs coming off the books. I guess if you want to add Ronaldo in that, we got 9. Not really sure. I mean, obviously he's not a game breaker.
What do we got? Like 8 million at the moment in cap space, and then if you possibly got rid of one of Goodrow, Monahan, or Gio, then
In our main core at the end of the season, before we talk Dubé's extension, we have 38,725,000 on the for the forwards, and then 20,750,000 on the in the defense side of things.
What about a
Markstrom
shout
to
out?
me is a big one at 6 mil.
What about a big shout out to in my opinion the real captain of the Flames this season in big number 17, basically waving his clause.
Are you getting paid every time you mention his name? Do you have rights on that?
It's a Boston thing,
kidding.
you know.
I'm kidding.
It's a Boston thing. I'm an Irish man. It's kind of par for the course.
That's fair.
It's kind of
No, it's hard. It's hard not to give him props. I mean, he's had a great season, and you know, it's refreshing to see him excited to play the game again. And he's doing it the right way.
Quote though, Chris, as well, must be very reassuring for someone like yourself and Dylan, who are like lifers in the Flames franchise.
Well, and I love that style of hockey as well, right? I mean, give me 6 Robin Regeers on the back end, and I'm a happy man. I don't care how many points they get. I just want to make sure the other team pays the price for coming into my
There
zone,
you go.
right?
There you go.
That's absolutely it.
But you know, the comment that I loved, I wanted to help out Tree. I wanted to help out the organization. And to be honest with you, I don't want to get moved because I want to end my career in Calgary. For me, hearing that, that's just...
Yeah, and he said he didn't want to handcuff, I think was the word he said. He didn't.
That's the one. That's the one. Yeah.
And from what I've read, I don't know if it's true or not, but from what I read, that was part of his, like when he waived his no trade to come here, from Edmonton. I guess he had a talk with Tree Living before that, and Tree Living asked him if he would waive for the expansion draft, and he said yes. So
yeah.
Honorable guy.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it just shows his character, right?
Yeah,
his true character.
Yeah,
and it would suck if he got picked, but also that's 5.7 million, I think.
That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. I think there's more of a chance. I personally think it's going to be Gio or Derek Ryan. I can see a Derek Ryan pick because
Ryan's a pending UFA.
He's a pending UFA.
Yeah.
They could pick him, but
and he's a Seattle guy as well. I was just thinking, I'm trying to think out loud more so than anything. I think Gio makes sense for Seattle because they're going to need some sort of leadership in there too. I see how that makes sense personally. It would be great for the Flames because you're getting six plus.
Do you think Gio makes sense at 6.75 over Luch at 5.25?
Well, for me, no, and I'm trying to sell the Kraken here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, anybody listening here of the Kraken organization,
Gio's your guy.
Yeah.
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 He's your guy, right?
Yeah.
Chris, what do you think about the pros of rebuilding starting, this offseason? What would your pros and cons of that be?
My biggest thing when it comes to this, obviously, we recently picked up Sutter. We, at the beginning of the year, we signed a starting goaltender. We brought in Tanev on a, I'm happy with his contract. I mean, it's a
I'm
number of
very
years,
happy
but
with the contract. He's been our best defenseman
you know,
the whole
yeah,
year.
at 4.5, it's really, to me, that's fine.
Yeah.
But like, do you bring in a $6 million goaltender and then start a rebuild? Like normally
No.
you don't do that, right? So to me, it's money wasted, and I think it was a very poor decision from Tree Living to even go there,
Yeah, I
given
agree. Yeah.
given where the team was and how fragile they've been for so long. They weren't a contender leading up until this year. So why he thought that bringing in a goaltender was the answer when goaltending has not been our issue at all for the last
Talbot would have been
number of
fine, right?
years.
Talbot and really
Ta-
good. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Talbot's career numbers are greatly superior to Markstrom.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
like, they're yeah. And you look at the seasons that each one of them have had. Granted, Talbot has had a better defense in front of him, but has he though? I mean, if you're looking at save percentage and like, I don't know, like I like Markstrom. He's a decent goaltender, but not at that contract. That
He's not elite.
contract
He's
is
he's on
terrible.
elite level
No,
money for a goaltender, right? I mean, it's elite
exactly.
money.
He's a 1A.
Yeah.
He's not a 1. He's a 1A.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At
And that,
if that
that
contract was
still have
3 years at 4 mil, then I'm happy.
Yeah.
The
Yeah. Me too. Yeah.
current one, no, sorry, Brad fucked that up.
So
As far as
he's
concerned, like,
tradable though,
greatly.
right, guys? I mean, he is tradable.
Not really. Not really.
I mean,
Not really.
I know. That's. I'm trying to. I'm trying
He's
to
not.
think of teams that he might be tradable for. Because Dylan, we had this
He,
conversation a while back.
he
Actually,
has a full no move clause.
fuck.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
So
the one extra year and the no move clause is why he signed in
That's-
Calgary and not Edmonton.
Oh,
yeah,
you know
and the
what?
fact that we overpaid for him to do that is just ridiculous.
I'm looking for
Brad is a
reasons.
dipshit on that.
I'm looking for reasons to want Brad to stay. God,
All that being said, I agree with you, Chris, that it's kind of a con. It's not great to have to get all these guys, these veterans, these starting goaltenders, and these
Mhm.
top defensemen, and then the next year basically slap them all in the face and Sutter too,
Yeah.
and be like, listen, you guys are here for a rebuild, and that's all there is to it, unless you want to waive your no move clause. Like, the
Yeah.
conversation when you sign those guys is, we are going to go on playoff runs. It's not, you're going to finish basically with Tanev anyways. You're going to finish your career in Calgary, and we're going to be rebuilding the whole fucking time.
Sure.
It's
Sure.
slapping
That's
him
a
in
good
the
point.
face, right?
Good point. So Dylan, based on that
Yeah,
point
because
that you made,
10
there,
of will be 35 by the time this contract runs out, right? I
yeah,
mean, how many more chances is it going to get?
36.
Not many.
Yeah. So based on that point that you said there,
His style
Dylan,
of play, like when you throw yourself in harm's way like he does, he's not gonna.
Yeah.
Those players don't often last a really, really long time. They don't have those careers that I can't think of anyone off the top of my head, but they don't go up into their 40s or whatever.
yeah, yeah.
Because
So Dylan, based on that point, that's a really good point. Let's go and look at the idea of the retool then, okay? Some of the players that you guys have mentioned there, Markstrom, Tanev. I mean, obviously Markstrom came purely for the money. It makes sense because, Calgary
I think
offered him
I think
more.
Markstrom came a lot as well because he didn't want to be moved. He wanted to make sure that he had a place to live for an extended period of time.
Sure,
He wanted
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
stability in his outside of hockey life.
Which makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I guess.
Um,
I mean, but it doesn't coincide with the business of hockey. And as
No,
far as I'm concerned, he's done nothing to earn that.
Well, that's the point I was going to make there off the back of Dylan's point. In terms of, we understand that Trey has, a relationship with the likes of Johnny Hockey and with Monahan and, Gio and
Yeah.
But these new guys coming in, say like a Tanev, you know, and a Markstrom, for example, what are their trust levels going to be with someone like a Trey? Like you told me you were going to build this franchise, build this dynasty. You know what I mean? And basically you've done fucking nothing really.
Yeah.
You know, from their point of view, I'm trying to think of from a human level, and it's like that's why Dylan made a really good point. You know, you can't tell these guys. And also, you can't sign these guys on the money that you have if you're going to rebuild and you're going to blow it up. So this is where we come to now with the retool. If there is a retool, and if we do keep Brad for one more year to retool, I mean, if he gets the one more kick at the can fucking adage that people keep using, I mean, this will be, you'll be going into year 8, giving him one more kick at the can, and then possibly, you know, as I said before, definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. And I think that's where we're at with Brad. I think Brad is a good guy, to be honest with you. I know I play with him a lot on this show and on the Flames Hub. I don't hate Brad. I think I agree with Dylan. I see he makes, like, his intentions are good. You know what I mean? His intentions are good. But I think it is time to move on and retool. And I think that's where you can get somebody maybe from upstairs that is already there. Let's talk about a retool, guys, and how that works. Chris, we'll start with you on this one. I think it makes the most sense, personally.
Well, I do as well, given that scenario we just talked about, right?
Yeah.
But that's the only reason why I think that.
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly think, you know, Johnny's time is coming to an end, even though, in my viewpoint, he's been the only person that has, you know, really improved under Sutter's game, which blows me away. I honestly thought the entire roster would improve and Johnny would regress.
Yeah,
just because of Sutter's style.
Yeah, Dylan made a point.
Dylan
made a point a while back, didn't you, Dylan, where you said that you thought of all people that maybe Monty would improve a little bit more. He'd kind of tap into maybe Monty, try and get him a little bit more aggressive. And I think the Monty situation at the moment I'm hearing as well, and I don't know if it's true, but if it doesn't make sense, it goes back to a point that you made, Dylan, about Monty's wrists, and it looks like they might give him a couple of weeks off to go and get that surgery on the wrists.
Again
in the off season
again. Like if he has wrist problems yet again, it's time for him to go.
He needs to stop,
you know,
doing that,
or what? Yeah,
he needs to strengthen them and keep doing that, or do it more.
Right.
or do that, or use the left.
Right. Or you know, like buy yourself a brace. I think he's got enough money.
Hey, or you know, he's got a wife.
Figure it out, because every single season it's his wrist. Every year.
It's been 3 years that his wrists have failed him, and I don't know if
since
that's
2014.
But that's kind of my personal assumption, but I don't really have any other ideas as to why he fans on so many shots.
I mean, I love Monty, I really do. It's like I don't know whether it's just I think it's a personal thing. I think just Monty is kind of was my guy, you know what I mean? And I find it really difficult. You know, some people love Johnny Hockey, and listen, I love Johnny Hockey too. Let's put this hypothetical scenario out there, okay? Because we've got 2 years left on Monty's contract. We've got a year left on Johnny's contract. We are in a position that if it's a case that we do keep those two guys, and we possibly Gio goes, or a big contract, a big-ish contract goes in the offseason, okay? And we do retool and we get that right wing, that top 6 that Dylan wants so badly, and I agree with him wholeheartedly on it. We can look at trading come close to the trade deadline, and you're looking at rentals then, you know what I mean, and possibly getting some picks. So this is where it comes in. Does the risk, you know, does the idea of keeping these guys, is that risk a valuable risk for the Flames to do? Because at this point, if we retool,
it really is valuable, and here's my thought on why it is.
Yeah.
Some of Treliving's best trades, aside from Hamonic, which I
At-
it at the time I really liked the trade, so I'm not going to rip him apart for it. It just didn't work out. But I mean, if you look at his trades with Lindholm and Hamonic, like those were deadline trades, and they were good trades. Everybody rips apart like, whoa, we lost Fox. Like we never had Fox, so fucking quit it. So like it gives you a full season with that player. So I don't think, I mean, that's not a rental at all. Like a rental is somebody you bring in for 3 or 4 weeks,
Yeah,
and then they're gone because they're on a
exactly. That's
UFA
why I'm
contract.
saying, like, if Johnny has a fairly decent season next year, and the Flames are just looking a little bit short, then there's a decision that can be made that we can get some really high value from Johnny for someone that
If
wants to play off.
Brad can't get Johnny signed this summer, he needs to trade Johnny this summer.
Yeah,
straight up.
Well, I agree with that. I do agree with that.
Because you can't wait till 3 quarters, like wait till the trade deadline next season and try and get maximum return for him, because you're not going to get maximum return for a guy that everybody at that stage knows he's just walking, right?
I also
Like
think
you're gonna
that you can't
be lucky to get a second.
Yeah, you can't do that either, because Gaudreau, you're gonna lose a lot of value the longer you keep Gaudreau, because he's got a modified no trade clause, I believe, coming up starting at the beginning of next season.
With 5 teams, he can only.
I think it's something like 5 or 6 or something like that. I'm not positive, but it's not many. And when teams know that they're like one of the only 5 that are in the running, they're not going to pay as much as they are when there's 32 other teams, 31 other teams in the running, right?
Of course. I mean, it's like it's like when you're a player and you ask for a trade, automatically your value decreases. And I think that's why, Trey has to be commended on what he got for Sam Bennett. You know what I mean? People can moan and bitch. People can bitch and moan all they want about that, and hindsight is fucking 2020. You know what I mean? Nobody expected Sam to go in and kind of light it up the way he did there at the moment. But like as we said previously, how long is that going to last? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think history will show that Trey made the right decision.
We had a disgruntled player who wanted out and honestly hadn't performed, almost never performed, except for, the 5 or 6 playoff games we play every year. Then he'd perform. But other than that, we had a guy who didn't perform, and we got, a second round draft pick and a pretty fucking decent prospect. Like,
100%.
And it's
at the end of the day, at the midsummer, both Johnny and Brad are going to know exactly what Johnny's future is with this club this summer. And if Brad doesn't act on that, then that's the biggest mistake he's ever made, ever.
Well, here's the big question. Here is the big question. Is Brad going to be the guy to act on that? Because
it's hard to say. It's hard to say, right? I mean,
so
we know ownership doesn't like paying extra, right?
Yeah, but we don't know. That's why this is the hypothetical conversation, because we really do not know.
Everybody's crying for us to hire John Davidson. Is that his name, from New York? They just
right.
Yeah, he called out the league on some actual fucking bullshit that they actually should be called out on. But
I mean, I agree on what he said.
Me too.
But also, if you listen to the actual hockey writers, if you will, the analysts, like none of them think he's going to get a job as a GM.
No, because that's a high risk, volatile move to make, right? Or high risk move for a volatile person. And I don't even know if I'd classify that as volatile, but in a professional.
It's not what we need, though, Dylan.
What has he done for the Rangers, anyways?
Yeah, it's not
what has he done for the Rangers. They're not making the playoffs either, so it's
no, they aren't. But like they're miles ahead of a couple years ago Rangers. They're actually making progress. and they
are
have
making progress for
a
sure.
lot of exciting young
Yeah.
players and
He
exciting.
did build a fairly good team, to be fair, Chris. Like in terms of like 2 years
really
time, that's
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, that's fair.
I
That's
think
fair.
you'll see the benefits of his hard work. Like, I mean, when we look upstairs in Calgary as well, you know, there's a couple of guys there that as well that they've been talking about because, like Chris, you mentioned that they don't really like to spend too much.
Yeah.
So they could possibly look internally. I don't know personally. I mean, look, I think Dylan's right. I mean that New York guy. I mean he has, when you look at it on paper, realistically he's built something that is going to be a very very strong fucking organization
in the
Yeah.
future.
going
Even if
forward.
they're not currently, in the very near future, I can see them being one of the best teams in the league for several years. You know,
Me too. Me too. Same with the
Yeah.
Islanders. Yeah, New York's looking
And
very strong.
like obviously this year, like either Johnny or Sean need to go, right?
Mhm.
We need to free up more cap space.
Geo also.
Uh,
I'm sorry to say it, but it's true.
Yeah, Gio's not going anywhere unless Seattle picks
unless
him up,
Seattle takes him, that's
which
the
is
only,
very unlikely. It's
or
like
unless we
it's
give somebody a.
I think there's like a 4% chance that Seattle
Okay,
picks up Gio.
here's a
Right?
good conversation then. If it's not Geo, then who is it?
Who are they picking?
Yeah.
I don't know.
They would honestly they would pick Luch before Gio.
I
I
don't
think
believe
so.
so. I don't believe
Why?
so.
I believe Lucic is more useful than Gio in
100%.
literally every hockey sense.
Yeah, I know.
100%.
Again, guys, don't be shooting us in the foot. You know, come on.
Well, I would take Luch over Gio on my team any day of the week at this stage of careers.
So you're saying that you would make Luch captain?
I
Of
think
Seattle?
I would rather have him captain over Gio
Yeah.
Me too.
because Gio's been captain for a lot of years, and
Too
the
long.
one thing that we talk about every single season is how the team has no heart, no desire, and no willingness to win, right? And that comes from the people that wear the letters on your jersey, and it filters its way down in the locker room.
It goes back to when we said, when's the last time you seen Gio like get in a fight for his teammates or do something for his
Just
teammates?
something,
Nothing.
just something, right?
Literally Mr. Bean. Oh, how you doing, eh? Hey, yeah, well,
Yeah.
we got to play harder and try better. Like, shut up,
Yeah.
you bald fucker. Fuck off.
When you're taking over a position from the likes of Jerome McGinley,
Yep.
I'm sorry, you
You
need
gotta-
to show up.
Oh yeah, you know what? I actually look at Gio personally now at this time as a leech, and he's just happy to fucking steal a living. That's not a captain.
Yeah.
It's the same over here with like you guys know I'm a big football fan, right? And I just happen to be a Chelsea fan. We have the sea. I love the sea. Has you ever noticed that? It's always the sea.
Yeah.
It's because I'm a grade A coont, as Dylan likes to say.
Heyo.
Ew. But
Is this where we put the disclaimer up?
yeah, there we go. I said coont. I said people can
right.
take that whatever way they want. But no, it's like, you know, we have like, it's the same with football right over here. Like you got a captain. A captain is a big deal over, you know, in soccer as well. It's like, it's somebody that leads either from the back or from the front and just drags. What?
And you know what? Giordano used to. He really
did.
He
I know he did. I know he did. I'm not being disrespectful.
Yeah. But it's been 4 or 5 years since he's been that guy, right?
Yeah.
He's just happy to earn almost $7 million a year, and like he just likes his slap shots. You know what I mean? It's the same fucking move every week. Give it to me. Don't worry, I know what to do, guys. And you're like, Stone is better than you at this, dude. What are you talking about? I mean,
tell you, when Stone can hit the net, he's unreal.
Oh, good Lord. Well, he's far better than fucking Gio at doing it these days anyway.
Yeah.
Or at least you know that there's a risk of possibly taking someone's eye out with it, you know, whereas Gio is just like,
Muffin City.
Yeah.
My problem with Gio isn't and never has been, you know, his ability to score goals. Like I'm part of the defense doesn't score goals camp.
Yeah, I know.
My problem with Gio has been for a number of years just his lack of give a shit every single
He's
night.
not a captain exactly. Like he's
He's
just
not.
feeling.
He doesn't get the team going. Like
You know what I
after they
watched?
did the
You know what
players
I
only
watched
meeting,
yesterday?
you got Gio was brought in, and the next game, and he's all hyper and he's hitting guys and he's chirping guys. That's what we need. He did that for one game, and then it was back to just meh.
I thought of you guys
Gio.
yesterday. I watched the '89 Stanley Cup documentary again, the old VHS one, and
Yeah.
and then I watched because I was like, right, I'm going to start getting into individuals now, and I went back and I watched Al McInnes. I mean, that guy scored goals, but played fucking hard as well. You know what I mean?
Right.
And like
Yeah,
well
he can
into
still.
his late years. I mean, look,
Yep.
Chara is fucking what, like Gio's age or not far behind Gio's age, and he's still trying to play with more passion than Gio
Making
does.
both
And
of
Gio's
them.
meant to be Mr. Calgary. Like he's, I don't know. I don't get it. I really don't.
Char's got
Char's 44 years old.
There
yeah.
you go. So he's older.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's almost a full decade old.
And fights more, and like defends his teammates more. It's like
He's not
Gio,
even a
hey
captain.
Matty, you got it, Matty. Don't be getting angry. Shut the fuck.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I think when his hair left him, I think so did his fucking heart.
Yeah, but he's one of those. His hair started leaving him when he was 22.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I'm just saying, Gio is not the.
I mean, he was a great success story, being not drafted. Going overseas to get his get his mind right to be ready for the NHL. He comes back and he was unreal for years, right? As a player, I don't know that even back then he was,
I don't know if he was ever
assistant captain worthy. No, I mean he may have been. I mean, obviously we're not in the room, but
Yeah.
but like clearly somebody saw something in that.
He
So he
used
must
to
have been
lead by
something for
example on
a
the
while.
ice, and
That's right.
I've never really seen him rally the troops on the bench. And like this is going to sound like a really weird shout, but he's not a good hockey player really in
Right.
the NHL. But Zach Ronaldo, you put him on the bench, you don't even play him a minute. You put him on the bench, and he sits there the whole time and rallies the troops and talks to the guys, and that's something a captain should do, not a guy who plays 3 games a year.
That's right.
You
Yeah,
remember
making
the Cassian fight with Kachuk?
Yeah.
And when Cassian was going off, Ronaldo was like, I'm next, you and me next. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, why do I love that?
Yeah. Well,
You know what I mean?
and we know that our team's in trouble when our emotional leaders, our captain and our assistant captain are Gio and Monahan.
Money is on drugs.
That's who's leading the charge.
Money
Like-
has got to be on drugs, guys, because he's on every interview and he's like, yeah, he's gonna play better.
Yeah, I mean, but that's his thing, right? Like he's reserved, he's quiet, which is fine. But you don't put a letter on his chest.
That's not a leader. Yeah.
Everybody, that's what they're told to say, whether that's what they feel or not. That's what they're
That's right.
told. But that's something I
Yeah,
used to, not so much this year, but I used to really love about Kachuk, is that he used to not say those things. He used to actually say what was on his
he
phone.
would add something to it. Like he would have the generic stock answers the NHL provides, but he would take it up a level, right?
Yeah, there was one day I think it was before he even had an A on his jersey, and he straight up called the team out. He's like, everybody, including myself, is terrible. Or, I'm paraphrasing, but basically that. And the next game, and for several games after, the team came out and played fucking hard. Like
Right.
you need.
If that's what he's saying in front of the cameras, damn well he's saying it, but 10 times
If
more.
he's not our captain, he's got to be our captain next year, guys. I mean, you gotta build, especially going into his kind of contract year. You're potentially losing a great hockey player, but also a great leader and a very, very unique player.
He's also an RFA, so if you do lose him, you're losing him for at 9 million. You're losing him.
Yeah,
for
so that's a couple. Yeah, that's a couple of firsts and stuff going into 2023.
Yeah.
It sounds good to me, right?
Yeah, I get you,
Don't
but
get me wrong. I would rather
I
keep
get you, but I'm
Matthew
rather
on the
the
team.
Matty Kachuk that I know that we can have. I'll be honest with you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Rather than the unknown, I'm super loyal. It's one of those things that we have in Europe, like when you have a player, because obviously in football over here there's no trades. It's like you buy a player and you hope that he fucking plays for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's no salary cap there, is there?
No, there's no salary cap. It's like you buy a player and then that's it. That's your guy, and you hope and you give him a couple of years, and you. So I kind of have that when I watch our boys, and kind of Kachuk for me is that one guy in the team that I'm like, right, I don't want to lose him. I want him to be our guy, and like, look, I think I speak for all three of us here. We all know that Chucky can be that leader. He's 23. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he needs
Well, exactly. Imagine what he's going to be like
allowed to
at
be the leader.
26.
Saying he's the captain now, no, that's not what we're saying. I'm
No,
saying that
no.
in as he grows and matures as a hockey player, he no matter where he's going to end up playing, he's going to be a core piece of that leadership group.
Yeah. I mean, I think
That's right.
I agree, because I think Lucic should be captain next year without a shadow of a doubt. That's just my opinion. Hopefully he's still with us, but I would definitely say that out of what we have right now, I think he's the only one that's. I mean, he skates faster than fucking Kachuk at the moment, which is crazy because he's like what 800 pounds.
Yeah.
Well,
he tries harder. Right? He tries harder.
Exactly, but he does.
You see-
He steps up for his teammates. He fights for his teammates. He does everything. Like literally, he's the only guy that does that. You know what I mean? I think this guy Rasmus Anderson, guys. I mean, the conversation needs to be had about that guy. That guy just looks like he's fucking become the worst player overnight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but again, the whole team pretty much has underachieved, and they
Yeah,
also
it's been
you have to
top to
remember they
bottom.
have a new coach coming in with a whole different system coming in halfway through the season. And don't get me wrong, Anderson wasn't playing very well before that either, but that has to at least factor into it a little bit.
Well, yeah, sure.
I don't know if Anderson's going to come back next year and play like he played last year, but I will put money on him coming back and playing a lot better than he played
I
this year.
hope so. I hope so.
Well, he better at 4.55 until the end of 26.
Yeah, and like I think we talked about last week.
Yeah, because his value is just
When
going to
he
go.
signed that contract, that was a fucking steal.
Yeah,
And
100% after the year he had. Yeah, it was great, right? It was exciting.
And these are things that Brad can't control. You know what I mean? Because anybody sitting here, like, that's a really good point, Dylan. Like, sitting here, you would go, yeah, that's a good deal. You know what I mean? Brad made a good fucking good contract there. I suppose we're all in agreement that a retool is kind of the way to go. If we're looking at certain players, I mentioned to Dylan off air there, because people seem to think I only want Duclair and Bobby Ryan in, which is kind of something Dylan's been fucking with me on for a long time.
Should we, before we get into your pipe dream there, should we pause?
Let's take a pause for the cause, and we'll do that. And it's not really a pipe dream, by the way, but still, checking out Bobby and Duclair's numbers in the last 3 years, they're still better than our top six. We are back. We are back. Sorry, Chris was talking. We were discussing some great stuff here. In the meantime, while we were waiting to come back, so Chris, why don't you jump straight into what you were about to say?
So before we took a bit of a pause there, you were looking at potentially bringing in somebody. We need somebody in the top six on the right wing side of things, and a couple of players that you're kind of chatting about or interested in would be the one and only Bobby Ryan.
No, don't put words in my mouth. Don't you fucking do me like that. No.
Who's playing for Detroit right now under $1 million cap hit for the season, which is good. Of course, I mean you can bring him in at $1 million because he's still making 1.8 out of Ottawa until 2024 from his buyout. I think, I mean, he's a usable player, and I mean, obviously
Well, he's better than Brett fucking Ritchie, and he's better than Jacob Markstrom.
well, he better be. He better be at the price.
Well, he might get 3 more goals than what we've got right now, which is probably the amount of the 3 of those guys that we mentioned, which is Simon, Markstrom, and Ritchie, and yet they're playing top minutes anyway. So,
and he's 34 right now, right? So he's 7 years older than Ritchie.
What about Raquel, guys? What about that's my real interesting one. Raquel from Anaheim, okay? He's got 1 year left on his contract. I mean, I think there could be a trade made in the offseason. He is Swedish as well. We were obviously looking at some different players from countries that might fit the bill. I know there's a Nashville right winger that you guys are a big fan of also.
Left winger, in Forsberg, but that's going to probably cost a lot more than.
What about Raquel? Yeah. I mean, even if you got Raquel in for that 1 year, you can review it then at the end of that year and see whether you re-sign him or not. But I mean, I think it's quite a doable trade.
It is a doable trade, but you have to think like he's at 3.8 as well for that 1 year as a trial, we'll say, right? Which, I mean, I like the player. I don't like the team he's coming from, but I do like the player.
Yeah, so I don't like the team he's going from either.
Yeah,
but I mean, 3.8. What's the cap space as it stands is 8 million anyway. So
yeah, but you still need to roster, right? We're losing a lot of guys this year.
That's true.
You said 8 guys, and then short that many roster spaces. I mean, probably a few less because there might not be a taxi squad next year, but you're going to need to bring in some more of those depth players we talk about that our league minimum 1 year, 2 year contracts or whatever. But as far as Raquel's concerned, I would love to give him a shot, depending on the price, obviously.
Sure.
I don't know what the price for him. I have no idea what Anaheim would be looking for. But I have heard rumors that he's available, and he fits a need that we have. We've needed a top 6 right winger for a long time, and he also can play center. That being said, he's not the top right winger. He's a second line winger in my estimation. He could step up and prove me wrong, but.
I mean, given a different circumstance, you might be able to take that leap up.
Yeah, exactly. What we need is a top line scorer, and that's what we've needed for how many years since Iginla left, probably even with Iginla, because, I mean, as much as I love Tanguay, was Tanguay really ever top line talent?
Well, that's right. I mean, we at the time, what did we keep saying for Iginla? We need a top line center.
Top line center, Camilleri.
Right.
So realistically, I mean, Lindholm surely is going to be your top line center next year, and obviously you could see Monty playing second line minutes again.
Eichel's going to be our top line center next year.
Who?
Jack Eichel. No, I'm kidding.
That's a funny one. I'm glad you bring that up because a lot of people like
amazing.
It's his position is
on. Have a team, but we'll have Eichel. We'll have the one guy, and then we won't have anybody else.
Yeah, you're going to have to trade absolutely everybody for him, including your stadium.
With all the UFAs coming off the books this year, we still wouldn't have enough money to pay Jack.
He's on a 10 million contract. They're going to want absolutely every asset that you have possible, including the saddle dog. So, I mean, you're going to have to speed up the new stadium real quick. And
I mean, that being said, that was a complete fabrication. I get that because it was. I mean, will have.
Some people believe it. Some people believe it's doable, though.
I was joking.
But Dylan, I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to bring it up. Some of our fan base actually believe that we have a shot at doing that, though.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, it's not saying that. Not.
It's just that other teams have a much. Many assets.
Yeah. I mean, if we can finagle a Gaudreau for Eichel, or even a Monahan for Eichel, which obviously I know it's far fetched. I get that,
You
but
need a
I mean,
lot
as far as salary goes, it's not that bad, right?
Oh
You know,
yeah,
because
well, I mean,
then you're
sure.
only adding 3.5 mil.
On paper, it's good. It's
Mm.
just it's like even though Buffalo at the moment are in such a shitty situation, um, you know, maybe they needed Brad Treliving. Maybe that's Brad's next job. He can go and rebuild those boys. You know what I mean? I don't.
Brad, I don't give a shit where Brad's next job is
Me
once he
neither.
leaves. He can he can go sit there and ask you for your order at Boston Pizza when he's done here. That's fine by me. I
But
could give a shit.
but I think
that was clever. I like that one.
I like that one too. Actually, the Boston Pizza for all I care. But no, I think it's
Isn't his dad like the owner of Boston Pizza or some shit?
you what?
What's
Isn't
that?
Brad Trudeau's dad like the owner of Boston Pizza or some shit?
Yeah, he's one of the big wigs. Yeah,
Was that what it is?
Yeah.
that's. Haven't
I
you seen
hate Brad
him on Dragon's Den?
every week we talk about Brad Treliving. I hate him more and more. He's like an entitled little bit. You know what I mean? Just this little
Yeah.
brick that landed into him. Oh, hey guys, oh, with his big twitchy fucking head. Anyway, we move along. Yeah, I don't know. I think you guys make some really really great points on kind of. I agree.
That makes
The rebuild. You what?
I said that makes two of us making good points then.
Yeah.
What's your excuse?
Holy.
Me and Chris. Yeah. Well, we have a host, Dylan. If we had you running the show, then people would switch off because there'd be no charisma on the show. So that's my purpose.
Oh,
Oh.
shots fired.
Yeah.
Shots fired.
Well,
That's probably true.
when you come at the kid, you better not shoot bullets because I retaliate with bombs.
Ian, did you just give
I'll
Dylan
stop.
the you just gave him the sharpshooter, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he tapped out. But
Yeah, I think so.
I like his initial attack though as well. I appreciate it. It was
So
well played.
you stick to wrestling and hosting, and I'll stick to actually knowing something about hockey.
That's it. Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, it's in your roots though, Dylan. So in all honesty,
It's true. Yeah, we'd have a whole bunch of Brett Ritchies on Dylan's team. Couldn't wait to see that. So in closing, actually this time, unlike last week when Chris made a late appearance to the show.
yeah, just a guest appearance.
I loved it, to be fair. I guess we're all in agreement that there is no need to kind of blow it up, and I don't think there's a realistic chance of that.
Yeah,
you guys definitely seem to believe that the kind of retool is the way to go. It's just adding a couple of pieces, and I guess
moving a couple of pieces is it. You got to move a couple pieces and then replace
that's what I was
them.
going to ask you, Dylan. What about you? What do you think realistically happens with who we move?
I don't know. You're frozen. I can't see you. But
you're back.
Yeah. I think that I mean Gaudreau, unless we can sign him for a very, very, very similar contract. Like, I don't want to give him a raise. He'll obviously want a raise, but unless we can get him signed up to something that's only a little bit bigger,
like quarter of a mil bigger, maybe, or is that even too much?
Something like that, quarter, maybe a half. But
yeah,
Monahan, I mean, I don't know what kind of asset you're going to get from Monahan, but I think moving those two and trying to maybe swindle maybe a third round pick or a second round pick or something towards the Kraken for them to pick Gio, that I'd be okay with. Shake up the leadership group and shake up what's been our top line for however many years, and just get some new faces, new talent in. That's kind of what I'm looking at. I think it's like you said, it's massively unfair to the Tanev, and not that life's fair, but to Tanev and Markstrom and even Sutter to say, you guys are going to finish your career out in this rebuilding situation, and you're probably not going to get a chance to win a cup. Sorry, bye.
Yeah.
So
yeah, thanks for grooming them and getting them ready.
Yeah.
And that's to me, that's the biggest unfortunate thing that's happening with the Flames right now, is a rebuild is needed, but Brad has put certain things into place that makes a rebuild unrealistic,
Mm.
and it's not going to happen. I've watched this team since the very beginning. I was 6 years old when they moved here. The 1980s were a lot of fun. It was exciting. The 1990s made me want to swing from a door frame. It was unreal to watch it, and we've never really done a full on level it off and rebuild something great. We've always had this mediocre. That's why I've always had a problem with the retooling, because it's never been successful. At least for us, we've never been able to retool properly because we signed these players, right? Yeah,
We've done it countless times, but it's never really been successful. But unfortunately,
exactly.
That's the position that I think is one of True Living's biggest faults. Is that's the position he's put us in. We need desperately to rebuild, but he's put us in a position that we
put us in that position. Exactly. I mean, we've gone through numerous years of playoffs, so we just add slightly, not make the playoffs. Okay, then we try and add somebody a bigger name. Playoffs, add slightly. This whole rinse repeat thing is just not working. It's not working. I want to see victories for my Flames. I want to see some fucking winning. I want to feel excitement again.
It's been a chore to
not
watch
TV. It has, right? Just like so many times I'm watching I've got this brand new 70-inch television that's sitting there watching a losing effort. And I feel like I'm the only one, aside from, you guys, obviously, that I'm watching this, and I feel like I'm the only one involved in this equation that has any emotion about what's going on during the game. The players sure as fuck don't. They don't give a damn.
The players do most games, and that's why I'm saying, we need, obviously we're not going to rebuild, but lateral moves, moving, Gaudreau for a similar type player, moving Monahan for a similar type player, moving, letting Giordano go, maybe signing a couple of free agents. That's a huge change.
It can be, right?
To the locker room. It's a huge change to possibly the on ice product. And
well, that's right. If we're not going to rebuild, we need to at least retool to change the culture of the Flames.
Culture, that's the word that was on the tip of my tongue that I couldn't melt out.
We need to
like a
change that culture. We need to
winning culture and
win at all goddamn cost.
Yeah.
We need guys again that hate to lose more than they just like to win.
Rather than just saying it as the token, just
the NHL answers, right? It starts tomorrow. Starts tomorrow.
That's the one.
Starts tomorrow. It's like the record is just going, kick it, starts tomorrow, kick it, starts tomorrow, kick it, starts tomorrow. Thanks, Monahan. Yeah, we know.
I'd be seriously interested to see, how you watch the Stanley Cup playoffs every year and the finals, and whatever game the finals get to, one team's holding the cup and the other team's sitting there crying. I legitimately wonder how many Flames players, if they were in that position, would be giving a fuck enough to cry.
That's a good point. That's a great point.
Yeah. That is a good point.
That's a super point, Dylan, because you're actually right. It's like that there's this level of talent that there's elite mentality, you know what I mean, that they want to win whatever sport that they're in. They want to win at all costs, and they legit do hate to lose. I mean, we saw it last year, didn't we, when Chucky was on the sidelines and he was fucking going crazy when the Flames got against the Stars, and it was like, that's the one guy. And now you can see where my kind of love, and you guys obviously love, comes from for Kachuk. You know what I mean? Because
That's right.
one guy that you see that gives a shit, even though he's on the sideline, he's not like, oh, well, we lost. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's right. And then he comes into this season and gets told to
Shut up.
simmer it down.
It's told to
Fuck
shut
that.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
like Dylan
screw
telling
that.
me to shut up there, but I'm still not going to shut up, you know? It's like, I'm
That's right.
really passionate about.
That's what he should have done. He should have not stopped playing his game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Almost
exactly.
despite the guys, right? Almost to say, like, fuck you, no, I'm not changing my game, you know?
I wouldn't expect you.
I'm sure some players would have agreed.
I think
sure, Daryl Sutter or Jeff Ward wouldn't expect Kachuk to change his game if his teammates are like, stop playing the game that makes you successful. I'm sure they would be like.
And I'll tell you what, that is a great way to close. That is a great way to close, because much like Dylan wants me to know more about hockey because I'm just a dumb Irishman who doesn't have the level of knowledge that they do, I am not going to change my passion for the Flames or my love for these two gentlemen that join me every single week. And I'm going to keep doing what I need to do. And just like Chucky, you got to keep on trucking. Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure once again.
Cheers.
Absolutely, brother.
Cheers, gentlemen. Go Flames.
It's been an absolute pleasure, and legit, go Flames, go.
Not like go different Flames, go. Not this Flames.
Yeah.
Go new Flames, go. Yeah. Go new Flames, go.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a brand new day.
Yeah.
I mean, we're playing Ottawa in an hour, but don't tell anybody.
Yeah. It's like in 30 minutes right now, right?
Yeah.
That's an auto loss.
Yeah.
Right.
Listen, boys, I absolutely love
it.
And until next week, keep following us, of course, and keep giving us the support on the Dynamo Podcast Network, where you'll find us every single week.
Oh,
the audio is going up as well, and we've got lots of new stuff coming. Chris wants to add something before we go.
Totally forgot. So whoever wants that Flames flag, we need those shares. We got to get those shares. We're going ahead with the draw next week. So if you want your name in it, get those shares on social media, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter. I don't care. Just share it. Tag us. Have fun with it. Yeah.
Join the Flaming Puck. Join the Flames Hub if you're a legitimate fan. And we'll be keeping a close eye on that. But until next week, for myself, Ian the Dynamo Kelly, for Dylan Simpson, and for Mr. Chris Ruback, we are over and out. Go Flames, go.